HOA fenced my cabin without permission, so I vanished their only lake dock overnight. The Karen flowers bloomed like wildfire around my cabin, their crimson petals a stark contrast to the quiet valley I'd called home for a decade. I'd built this place with my own hands, logs hewn from the forest, nails driven with sweat and stubborn will. It was my sanctuary, a refuge from the world's noise. But the Harmony Oaks Association, HOA, had other plans. They arrived one spring morning, unannounced, hammering metal posts into the earth, stringing chain link fencing right through my flower beds. No warning, no permission, just a curt note: property line correction. My cabin, my haven, was now caged. I confronted Margaret, the HOA president, that same afternoon. She stood prim in her pressed blazer, her smile sharp as a blade. "It's for the community's aesthetic, Daniel," she said, gesturing at the flowers. "Your cabin's rustic charm disrupts our vision." Behind her, Tom, her deputy and a former friend, avoided my gaze, his hands fidgeting with a clipboard. I'd known Tom since we were kids fishing off the lake dock. His silence stung worse than her words. "You've got no right," I spat. "This is my land." Margaret's eyes narrowed. "Check the bylaws. We're within our rights." The bylaws, a 200-page monstrosity I'd never read. I stormed back to my cabin, the flower's sweet scent now sour with betrayal. That night, I pored over the document, my kerosene lamp flickering. Sure enough, a buried clause gave the HOA authority to adjust boundaries for community benefit. My blood boiled. They'd exploited a loophole to steal my freedom. But I wasn't powerless. The lake dock, the HOA's pride, where families gathered, kids swam, and Margaret held her self-aggrandizing barbecues, wasn't bolted to the earth. It floated. An idea sparked. Under moonlight, I rode out, tools in hand. The dock was sturdy but detachable, its anchors simple chains. Hours later, it was gone, towed to a hidden cove. I slept soundly for the first time in days. Morning brought chaos. Margaret's screams echoed across the valley as residents gathered, stunned, at the empty shore. Tom found me by noon, his face pale. "Daniel, what you done?" he stammered. "That dock was everything to us." I shrugged, feigning ignorance. "Nature's unpredictable, Tom. Maybe it floated away." The community fractured. Margaret rallied supporters, accusing me of sabotage. Others, like old Mrs. Clara, whispered sympathy. "They shouldn't have fenced you in," she said, her eyes sharp despite her age. Clara, a widow who'd lived here longer than anyone, knew the valley's secrets. She'd seen feuds before, but her quiet nod felt like absolution. Still, guilt gnawed. Kids cried, missing their summer swims. I hadn't meant to hurt them, just Margaret's ego. Then came the twist. Clara called a secret meeting in her barn. I expected allies, but instead, she revealed a yellowed map, her hands trembling. "This land," she said, pointing to my cabin, "was never yours, Daniel. It's community property, deeded to the HOA decades ago." My stomach dropped. Margaret hadn't just exploited a loophole. She'd enforced a truth I'd never known. My cabin, my labor, my life here built on a lie. Clara's voice softened. "I didn't tell you to hurt you. I told you because truth matters, even when it burns." The revelation shattered me. I faced Margaret again, this time with Tom and a crowd. "You knew," I accused, voice raw. "You let me build. Let me believe." Margaret's composure cracked. "You never belonged here, Daniel. You're a squatter." Tom stepped forward, his voice low. "She's right, but she didn't have to humiliate you." "I'm sorry." His apology, sincere yet late, twisted the knife. The crowd murmured, divided. Some saw me as a victim, others a thief. Could have fought, hired a lawyer, dragged it out. But the fight was gone. That night, I packed my tools, my books, and left. The cabin stood empty, Karen flowers swaying in the breeze. The dock stayed hidden. Let them search. As I drove away, the valley's beauty felt like a wound, gorgeous, untouchable, no longer mine. Months later, I heard the HOA rebuilt the dock, but the community never recovered. Distrust lingered, neighbors turned inward, and Margaret resigned, her victory hollow. Clara sent me a letter. You showed them their rules can break hearts. That's enough. I wasn't so sure. Revenge had cost me my home, my peace. The flowers, the dock, the fence, they were all symbols of a deeper rift, one no one could mend. What do you think, was my retaliation justified? Or did I destroy more than a dock in my quest for justice?